Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. I'm so excited about today's project. A little over a month ago, Renee Allen, who's a member in our Swap It group, sent me an idea for an accordion file folder swap. She had participated in the same kind of swap in another group. She sent me a wonderful tutorial that was by Pion Design, and I will link that tutorial in the video description below for those of you that don't have a Cricut or a digital die cutting machine. You can create one by hand, and she has great written out step-by-step instructions on how to do that. I'll also link another YouTube tutorial that shows you how to make one yourself using the same directions. But for those of you with a digital die cutting machine, I have an awesome tutorial. As soon as I saw this idea, I knew exactly where I needed to go to get the exact cutting file, and that was at loriwhitlock.com. She's got the perfect SVG to make this project even easier and a little more tailored. I just love this idea. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is go get the file from loriwhitlock.com. So if you type in loriwhitlock.com, it's going to default over to her blog, and you're going to click right here where it says Shop. And then you're going to go up here in the upper left corner where it says Search and type in capital A2 Accordion. File box, and it'll come up right here, and this is the file that we need to make this fun little flip book. So you're just going to add that to your cart and download it to your desktop or wherever you want to download it. I put it on my desktop just for easy access while I'm working with it. But this is the file you need. So let's go over to Design Space and find out how we bring this into work with it. So we're going to create a new project. And now we're going to go to Upload Images. This file comes in as an SVG file. So in order to upload an SVG, we use the image right here. And if you're confused which one, look right here. It says SVG files. So let's hit Upload Image and browse. You're going to navigate to where you downloaded that file. Again, I just put it on my desktop, and it's right here. It's called LWA2 Accordion File Box. So we're going to double click on that. And you can see here you have the SVG, you have the terms of use, which if it's, unless you bought a commercial license, this is for personal use only, so you shouldn't be sharing this in any other groups or anything. And then you have a photo of the album. So we're just going to click on the SVG and hit open. And that looks great. If you want to tag it here, you could put swaps, flipbook, accordion, file box. You can name it, rename it if you want, and we'll hit save. Now once that saves, it's going to be right below our screen here, and it'll be the very first item in our uploaded images. So we'll just tap on it so that the green check appears, and then hit Insert Images. And here it is. It's perfectly sized, so we're going to just hit this minus key in the lower left corner so that we can see everything that's going on here without resizing it, because I don't want to change any sizing. It's sized to fit A2, which is 5.5 by 4.25. So here are all the pieces we need. Now everything looks perfect here, but there's one thing we have to do in Design Space with any file that has score lines. And what we need to do is attach those score lines to the designated pieces. So the first thing we're going to do, while it's selected, and I suggest you do this in a blank area within the frame, but in a blank area, not on an object, just so you don't accidentally move it. And just right click and hit ungroup. Now what that's done is allow us to work with these pieces individually. All of these light brown pieces or tan pieces have score lines. That's what these dotted lines are. Now in Design Space you can use a score tool and score those score lines with the tool, But in 3D objects like boxes and stuff, I really suggest or recommend that you go ahead and leave those as cut lines, not score lines. Lori does a great job of keeping her score lines nice and small, and the Cricut is so precise that you don't really see them, but it folds much neater and nicer without using the score tool. I prefer to cut them. If you want to score them though, you're just going to click on them and make sure you just have the score lines, and then you'll go over here to the layers panel and click on it and change it to score. I'm not going to do that again. I prefer to leave them as cut lines. Okay, so what we need to do in Design Space is attach the score lines to the base pieces. If we don't, Design Space doesn't know where we want those score lines, and it'll just put them on a random mat all by themselves. So, in order to do that, I'm going to select these first two pieces right here, and I'm going to right click and click attach, and what that's done is attached those score lines to those pieces so that Design Space knows that we want those scored right there. And then I'm going to select these two pieces, right click and attach. Now you may ask, why didn't I select all of those? And the reason is because I know that this is an A2 size and I'm going to use a 12 by 12 mat. If I had selected all of this and attached, it would have kept all that together, and this is from 9 to 24 inches, so it would have made me use a 24-inch mat, and I don't want to do that. I just want to use a 12-inch mat. So if you're just using a 12-inch mat, you just want to grab this piece and attach it, and then grab those pieces and attach it. So let's hit go and see if that worked for us. Okay, it did. We have a 12-inch mat here with the base of the box and the flap of the box. Then we have a 12 by 12 mat with the insert pieces, and you can rearrange these if you want. Again, they're attached, so if you want to change direction, they're going to move together. But I'm just going to leave them like that. And then we have our insert pieces, and here are our decorative pieces. And actually we could have attached everything and got that all on one mat. I don't care about it. I'm just going to put a 12 by 12 sheet in. I'll cut these pieces, and then I'll flip it over and use the side to cut that piece. But if you want to do that in one step, you can attach those pieces the way you want them arranged. So let's cut these out and then meet me in my craft room and we'll put this together. Okay, before we start the construction of this particular box, I wanted to let you know that I do have links below in the video description of a DIY. If you do not have a digital die cutting machine, a Cricut, a Silhouette, or anything where you can use a digital cut file, you can still participate. I have a tutorial where by Pion Design, where you can make this without any die cutting machine, totally by hand, and it's essentially the same thing. It's super cute. And I also will link another YouTube tutorial that I saw where somebody constructed one by hand without the use of a digital die cutting machine. So stay tuned. You can still see how to assemble it. The assembly is still exactly the same if you make it by hand or whether you have your machine cut it out for you. Okay, so we have our 3 cutout inserts. We have our base. This is the top of it. This is the main part of the box. And then we have our sides. And this is the parts, the 2 squares that are scored. You're going to need some strong adhesive. I recommend using super tape. This is by Thermoweb, and this is one of my favorites, but any kind of super tape or very strong adhesive you want to use for a 3D box. The first thing we're going to do is take our base and we're going to fold it on the score lines. Okay, next we have our lid, and we want to fold our score lines again. Make sure they're nice and creased. Use a bone folder if you have one.
Okay, now we're going to lay this flat. This is the inside of the box, and I'm using a textured cardstock, and I want this texture to be on the outside. So I'm putting the part that I want on the outside face down on my mat, and I'm going to take the lid, and this is the texture side, so I'm going to apply my super tape right here. Make sure that's stuck down really well. And then I'm just going to lift off the red backing. Now I'm going to turn that over and line this up very carefully with the box, top of the box. And actually I think I'm going to hold it up like this so I can make sure it's not sticking up past the box. So the flap is secured on the inside of the box. From the back you can't really see it. Okay, so that is the base of our box. We want to leave it just like that for now. Now we're going to grab our side panels and we're going to accordion fold them. Just like that. Again, you want to use your bone folder. Okay. Bone fold it. Make sure it's down there good. Okay. The first thing you're going to do is open up your first one, and we're going to go to this, here's the end of it, fold that under, and we're going to go to this first flap, and we're going to apply our score tape right there. Then we're going to fold that flap over, apply score tape, fold that flap over, apply score tape, and I'm not taking the protective red covering off yet. We don't want it to stick yet. Alright, and then we can apply score tape to the two outer flaps. Whoops. And this stuff's super sticky, so don't stick it where you don't want it, which I just did, but it'll be okay because it's not going to show. Alright, now we want to do the same thing to this one. So, we're going to take our first one, we're going to open it. This is our outside flap. We want to leave that one just like it is. And we're going to open up that first flap and take our adhesive off. Alright, now we're going to grab our flap, and I'm using the one with the tab on the left. And I just want to line that up right inside here. And I'm making sure the bottom is lined up. Okay, so we're going to take the other one, we're going to open it up, and if you wanted the pattern to be on the outside, obviously you're going to do it this way, but I want the outside to be white and the inside's going to have the pattern. So we're going to leave that first flap down, open it up to the first flap, and pull that out. So if I open it up, I have score tape here, and I just took the cover off of this one. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line this up right inside here, lining up the bottom on the side. Make sure it's straight. And press that down. So this is what we have right now. Alright, now we're going to go back to this side, take off the next flap, and we're going to line that one up right inside. Go over here, the next flap, take this off, and line this one up right inside that flap. Guess what's next? Back to this side, pull that sticky tape up, gonna line this one up right inside here. Being careful to keep the bottoms lined up. Go to this side, pull that up, Line that one up. And so we're left with this. We have an extra flap. It's facing out. We have the sticky tape on the front and the back, okay? But this is the inside of our swap box. So we're going to go back over here and, oops. What's going to happen with this, it's going to fold like this, and this is how our swap box is going to work. Okay, so we want to insert the inside right here on this flap where we adhered the lid. We're going to adhere this. So we're going to take off the back of this again on both sides. And very carefully, and I like to kind of set it like this and then bring this up. Let me see if I can pull this back so you can see. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up, and then you want to center that right inside there, flush with the bottom. So that's hooked right there. We're going to take off these. And if you're using a roller adhesive like an ATG gun, obviously you can glue this as you go. Okay, now we want to make sure that this bottom part does not get stuck to it. So what I'm going to do is hold it like this, and I'm going to bring this forward and try to stick it as straight as I can to the front. Same for this side. I'm going to bring this forward and stick it down. So now we have our box assembled, and it's going to bow just a little bit just because of the nature. One, this paper is not very thick, and two, it just doesn't stand straight. Okay, so now this I'm going to do, I did the other one a little bit differently. I put the closure on the bottom. And you can do that. You can punch 2 eyelets here. If you're going to do that, I suggest you do that before you hook this together. But this one, I thought I'd just do a Velcro closure on the front. So we don't need to do anything with that yet. But again, if you want to do the closure like the first one I show in the video, I punched the eyelets right here. Okay, so now we have our decorative pieces, which we have cut out. And I am going to actually use my ATG on this part, and we just want to attach them to the front. Going to attach them to the lid. And you can attach these before you assemble if you want. I just like to do it this way just in case something goes wrong. Don't have to start all over. And the back side. Okay. Well, that looks great. Okay. Okay, on mine, I'm going to attach a piece of Velcro, and I have it right here, and I'm just going to put it down here, and then I'm going to close the lid so that it sticks exactly where I want it. Now I can open that, make sure that's stuck down really well. And I'm just going to put a little button on the front. And I think I'll use some foam tape for that. And so there you have it. That's the base of the book. Super simple, very easy with the cut file. Now, this is one that I made earlier, and I showed this in the video. This one I did a little bit different. I put 2 eyelets here and just punched a couple circles, and then I just ran this around it. That's another way to do it. You can make any kind of closure you want. And then you just stuff this with all kinds of fun things for your swap partner to receive and go through. It's kind of fun just to kind of look through it. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you haven't already, join us over in our Facebook group called Swap It. We're going to do a swap with this project, and I can't wait to see what everybody makes. As I mentioned before, down in the video description there will be a link to one that you can make it by hand if you don't have a Silhouette or a Cricut or any digital die cutting machine. There are instructions on how to make one by hand. I have a blog post by Pion Design, and also I'll put a YouTube video where somebody else made one by hand. So thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye.